and I'm here with the evening edition of RCRC TV. Tonight's programming is all about getting fierce. So we're going to be looking at how you can take your volunteering to the next level. Oh, are you about to touch that dial because you've heard me speak about volunteering just a little too much in your lifetime? But let me tell you, we've got some really new and innovative programming in tonight's edition, so you're definitely going to want to stay tuned in. And we're talking about getting fierce, which is a new concept. It is this year's theme. So we're taking things to the next level. We are really activating to make this the most awesome experience for our new Ladies Rock campers. And also, how can we make this the most awesome community possible? It is exciting, let me tell you. So our first program is actually going to be an exclusive interview with our premier correspondent, Katie Couric. Katie, can you take it away?
Thanks, Katy Perry. I'm Katie Couric, and I'm sitting here today with Reese Tanimura. And for those of you who don't know Reese, she is a Rain City Rock Camp director, fierce superstar. We're so glad to have you on the show today, Reese. Thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me, Katie.
So Reese here is going to talk to us today about band coaches at Ladies Rock Camp. And we've got some good questions for you. I think it's going to be a good conversation. Let's start out with this one. Why do you choose to have band coaches at Ladies Rock Camp? And what specifically makes a fierce band coach?
Oh, well, band coaches are really important at Ladies Rock Camp. I mean, you know, we only have a few days. Some folks have never been in a band or played music before. So just, you know, I like to think of it's more than a band coach. You know, the volunteers in this position, they are cheerleaders. They set camp culture. You know, they're really instrumental to setting the tone for the band, setting up things like band norms that helps the band communicate, you know, on a level where, you know, it goes by fast, those 2.5 days. So making sure there are ways that they can express to each other and to themselves really what's going on, you know, so that they can be successful in writing their song and coming out of the weekend feeling really empowered and, you know, enabled to be able to go out and try things and do things that they want to do. You know, I think that the band coach is one of those roles where they really look and assess all these folks that are coming in, and they look for their inner individual strengths and play on those strengths to make sure that the whole works together.
Wow, yeah, that does sound fierce. Thank you for answering that.
Yeah,
now, our audience members are definitely interested in this one. We want to know, how could you as a band coach possibly make a difference if all of your band members are experienced musicians? What's your role there?
Oh, that's a great question. There's a lot of experienced musicians. They come in, try a new instrument, or they come to further their instrument skills or get ensemble skills. That means like they might play at home by themselves, but then, you know, I think that band coach is there to push these folks to the next level. It's all about, you know, if you come in knowing nothing, it's about building confidence and, you know, being able to help that person walk into the role of musician. If you already come in as a musician, that band coach is there to say, hey, that skill is really great. Let's see if we can bump it up to that next level. Can you do this? Can you maybe help be a leader in the band? So also facilitating folks taking ownership of roles in the band, which is really important to that collaborative creation that goes on in the bands.
So the band coach is really involved with pulling something out of the band member.
That's exactly it. You know, I think sometimes when people sit at home and they're working on technical skills, or they're just worrying about, you know, learning this or learning that, getting in touch with what is it, the motivation, or even like what's the next thing that they could do. That's maybe sometimes hard to see the big picture, and when somebody comes and looks at that, it's easier to you know, kind of observe and say, hey, you know, I see this thing that you're doing and I think you could get to this level, maybe try this. Or, you know, working with another person, it's also about fostering that collaboration and interaction between musicians and helping folks to find the way to do that that'll make the most successful song that they can.
Wow. Okay, that is inspiring. Wow. I didn't realize that band coaches played such a vital role in that sense. Now I want to talk about jams. This is something I'm not personally very familiar with. How do you get one started? How do you get those creative juices flowing and get your band underway, making songs and playing music?
Yeah, the jam, it's part of what folks think about music is so cool and appealing, and then at the same time it has that little fear-inducing factor.
Mm-hmm.
And, sometimes it's just a matter of encouraging folks to take the first step to be the first one to put themselves out there. Because part of the jam is that you're creating on the spot. So, it's a little bit scary to be the first note that's setting the pace for everyone else. And I think that, again, the band coach is there to help be that cheerleader to say, what you have to show and express is really important. And you have a group of people around you that really want to try to create with you. And so having an individual start, whether it's the bass player or the drummer, and it could be a note, it could be just, an idea of a rhythm, maybe even singing something first together, or starting back and forth and even doing some, improv with words if they're having a hard time getting that song started, just kind of doing a stream of consciousness. It's more about the encouragement and, setting up some ideas to start with.
Great. Yes, thank you. And it sounds like that could actually be a pretty fun process in the end if you're creating the right space for a jam to take
totally.
place.
I think it's almost always a fun process once people can get there.
Right.
It's always getting started that's the hard part.
Yeah. So let's talk preparation. As a band coach, how do you prepare for Ladies Rock Camp? What are some steps that you can take to make sure that you are prepared as a band coach?
Well, one of the hard parts about band coaching is that because, we try to formulate the bands based on folks coming in and things we hear from them and their dynamics and interacting in the band mixer portion. You don't get to know a lot about their experience level, but I think some great things to do are to have some ideas of activities that you can work with different levels of musicians at. Things like just knowing how to do a few simple things in a blues structure that has a lot of different options, from very basic all the way up to lead guitars or vocal improvisation. So there's all these range of things that you can help the musicians to work at their level within that activity. There's also, I think it's really important to come to the camp with just a different dialogue about who can be a musician. And so some of the preparation is really fun. It's like going out and looking for great examples of female and gender nonconforming musicians who really, have some different aspects to their music, whether it's the Riot Girls, those folks, a lot of them started out with this idea that you didn't have to be virtuoso in order to play the instrument. You just had to have something to say and express that. So having that idea of like who these people are that I think that maybe, the Slater Kinneys or the Bikini Kills, that you may be able to just resonate with some campers, like they'll know those names and then they'll realize, hey, those folks, they picked up their instruments and they didn't have to know, every single note. They didn't have to play every single kind of fancy beat. It was more about what they had to communicate and expressing themselves. So I think it's coming prepared with that mentality that's really important for a band coach.
Wow. Thank you, Reese. I feel inspired to attend Ladies Rock Camp and experience such a model of a band coach. And I think you've really laid it out for us what a fierce band coach looks like. And I hope our audience has learned something as well. And we hope to have you back on the show sometime. Thank you so much, Reese, for being here and chatting with us.
Now interrupt our regular programming for a 15-second dance party.
to RCRC TV. My name's Greta Fearson, and I have a new show to introduce called Fierce Trivia. Let's meet our contestants. Lion likes to lay around in the sun in the tundra.
Rawr.
Next, we have Cat, who likes to take long walks in the neighborhood. And finally, we have Kitten, who likes to play with yarn balls. Why don't we get started? The first question. I noticed that RCRC puts a lot of emphasis on culture. Why is that? Kitten?
Culture. I don't know. I never really thought about it. I just really show up to set up lunch.
Lunch is great, but I think we could get a little more fierce. Cat.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of thinking about culture, and I think it has a lot to do with like an empowerment space and taking up space and being loud and free and just really taking up space.
Loud and free are some of my favorite things to do, but I think we can get a little bit more fierce.
Meow.
Lion.
Well, I feel as volunteers and community members that we really set the pace and we can bring the mood to camp. When we're at camp, we're all contributing to this place that it's so different than the outside world. It's somewhat of our bubble, but we want to take that out. So, when I'm at rock camp, I am camp. I'm a leader. I can take that and take it to the next level. You're rock camp when you're there, and you're a leader, and everybody has a part in making this, this thing a bigger thing so that the whole world can feel our reverberation.
Your fierce description makes me want to go to LRC. Let's go to our next question. How do you show up for camp, Kitten?
How do I show up? Well, usually I have trouble finding parking, so I'm a little bit late. And I show up and grab my coffee and check out the scene. I try to find Mo and have her tell me what to do.
Great. Audience, do you think there's a more fierce answer? Yes? Great. Cat.
Well, I definitely show up on time of what it says on the schedule that was sent to me, and I try to prepare by just thinking about like all of the new people that I'm going to be meeting, and I definitely like get my coffee and walk around and try to find my buddies. Yeah.
It's very kind and thoughtful to meet new people, but I think there is a more fierce answer in this universe.
Meow.
Lion.
I'm usually getting psyched up for rock camp like weeks in advance. I go on to the old playlists and start pumping around the house at work. And when I'm driving to rock camp, I definitely have on some Sister Rosetta or Pat Benatar or, Grimes, something that really gets me in the mood and makes me feel like ready to be steeped in a different kind of rock.
Folks, that is the pinnacle of fierce if I've ever heard it. Next question. What work are you doing to challenge yourself at LRC? Kitten.
I think it was challenging enough to get here after my gig last night, you know what I mean?
I mean, really challenging. But audience, don't you think there's a more fierce answer? Yes? Me too. Cat?
Well, I think it's a challenge for me. LRC is a challenge, and interacting with new people is going to definitely be something that is, stretching my comfort zone, but I'm also really glad that my BFFs will be there and that I can fall back on that because I already have connections that I've made.
True. I think if Fierce was hiking a mountain, we'd be on the trail to Peak Everest, but we're not quite there in the Fierce factor.
Meow.
Lion?
Yeah, my whole band's going to be there, and we've kind of committed to each other that we're going to meet new people, definitely. And beyond that, really try to get to know those folks and pull them and invite them and welcome them into the community, have a meal with them, make sure they're having fun at karaoke, singing songs, getting up on stage, and, dancing with the flags and the streamers and all the fun weirdness that goes on. I also think we're going to be really super aware, because we've been around the space for a while, that we're going to try to make sure that we turn down a little bit, that we encourage those new campers to turn up, take up some space, find their voices, hear what they have to say, so that, we have this amplification of our collective voices. We have just a sense of who they are, and what they're able to be a part of it and contribute to the community.
You are the fiercest. And the last question. Will you please show me your Get Fierce face, kitten? Ooh, a little light on the fierce scale. I think we can maybe do a tiny bit better. Cat?
Get fierce.
Oh, I like the sound effects. I'm gonna ask you to step it up maybe one more. Lion? Get fierce! Wow. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on Fierce Trivia. Stay tuned for more Fierce programming. My name's Greta Pearson.